Good evening, and welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, Monday, April 15th, 2024. We'd all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight's decisions will be published in the Record Journal on Friday, April 19, 2024. The effective date of your variance will be Friday, April 19, 2024. The date a certified copy is recorded on the land records. The statutory 15-day appeal period will expire on Sunday, May 5, 2024. If you commence operations and/or construction during the appeal period, you do so at your own risk. Tonight's meeting will have Karen Harris, Tom Wolfer, Bruce Conroy, Robert Prentice will be filling in for Joe Rusek, and myself, Ray Rice. We also have an alternate here, Mr. Gross, Robert Gross. The first item on our agenda is item 24008, a variance request, Narvinsky front yard of 31.6 feet, 50 feet required to construct a second floor addition to 367 Williams Road in an RU 40 district. Madam Secretary, do we have any correspondence?
Yes, we do, Mr. Chairman. We have staff comments that read as follows. Application number 24-008 is a variance request for a front yard of 31.6 feet, where 50 feet is required and 31.6 feet exists in order to construct a 435 square foot vertical addition to the southwest side of the existing dwelling at 367 Williams Road in an RU 40 district. The original dwelling was built in approximately 1900 and is situated on a corner lot with an existing front yard of 31.6 feet at its minimum, predating zoning. Dwelling has a 506 square foot second floor. An applicant proposes continuation of the existing second story over the 435 square foot of single story portion to the northwest. Also, there is an interdepartmental memorandum from the Health Department dated April 9th, 2024. And that's it.
Are the people here for this variance? Would you please step up to when you get up there, take a seat, identify yourself, name and address, please. And close to the microphone.
I'm Tom Nedworski.
Closer.
Sorry. I'm Tom Nedworski. I live at 367 Williams Road.
Okay.
I'm here for the variance.
Would you like to explain this some to us?
Yeah, well, me and my wife, we have a growing family, so we need more room for our children. And we're basically just going over the existing footprint. And like you said, it was built over 100 years ago. So we want to stay in Wallingford, too. We want this to be our forever home. So with an expanding family and wanting to stay here, that's really our only option, is to expand the second floor over what already exists. Figured it's the easiest route to go. Plus we got priced out. We can't really buy anywhere else. You know what I mean? Prices for houses are through the roof right now. I like the gambrel style too, the Dutch colonial that we got. So they're gonna extend that out over the. They did an addition in the 50s, and they're going to do it over that. So I think it's going to look sharp when it's done. Plus, Cipriani's have a good reputation in town.
Okay. Anything else?
No,
Okay.
that's really the main reason, just because our family is getting bigger. We have 3 children, probably planning on having more, so we need some room.
Okay. Do we have questions here? Any of the commissioners?
I don't have any.
You got a question? No? None this way? Is there anybody in the public that wants to speak for this application? Anybody in the public who wants to speak against this application? Okay, we'll bring it back up here for action. Motion? It's on. It's on. Yeah, just talk into it. There you go.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve variance application 24008, Narodowski on 367 Williams Road. Variance request for front yard of 31.6 where 50 feet is required, and 31.6 exists to construct a second-story addition at 367 Williams Road as shown on subdivision of land into lots A, B, and C, owned by Ernest and Shirley Giannotti, McNaballa Lane, Williams Road, and North Airline Road, dated May 20th, 1986, and revised July 1st, 1986. And plans received February 29th, 2084, subject to the comments of the Health Department received on April 5th, 2024. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Motion to approve, Mr. Conroy.
Yes to approve.
Mr. Wolfer.
Yes to approve.
Mr. Prentice. Yes to approve. Ms. Harris.
Yes to approve.
And Chairman Rice.
Yes to approve. You all set?
Thank you. I appreciate
Have a good
it.
evening.
You too. Thank you very much.
Next item on our agenda is 24009, variance request of 53 Harrison LLC, 53 Harrison Avenue. Do you have any correspondence, Madam Secretary?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have staff comments that read as follows. Variance request is for side yards of 12 feet, where 20 feet is required in order to construct a new single-family dwelling at 53 Harrison Avenue in an R18 district. 53 Harrison Avenue is a vacant, undersized lot of record predating the inception of zoning. Lot has an area of 7,500 square feet and street frontage, which is the lot width, of 50 feet. R18 zones require 18,000 square foot lot area and 100 feet of street frontage. Severely undersized existing lot will require some variance approval in order to erect any single-family dwelling and deem the lot usable. Applicant has proposed a plan minimizing any necessary variance requests. This office has no objection to this particular variance approval, as without, the parcel may not be able to be constructed upon for residential use, and therefore denying a property owner from reasonable use of the property. That is it.
Any questions here? Pardon? Oh, I'm sorry. Come on up. You have anything you want to add, or?
No, I think the staff summary summed it up quite well. It's a lot that requires some variance.
Just identify yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry,
And your
sure.
address.
Sure, it's Jonathan Sullivan, and my address is 44 South Ridgeland Road. in
Okay,
Wallingford.
thank you.
Yeah, so, and we identified that obviously with the need for housing in town, there's a lot of interest in housing, available housing, and we're trying to fit that need. And this lot obviously pre-existed zoning, so requires a variance in order for us to make it usable.
Okay. Mr. Gross?
Good afternoon. Question on the lot. The lot 53 Harrison Road abuts the lot behind it, which is 59 Florence. You're listed, or Falcone is listed at the address at 59 Florence, but also listed as the owner of 53 Harrison. Are you the owner of 53 Harrison, or is Falcone?
No, we are under contract with Mr. Falcone, the owner, to purchase the property. And the abutting lot is actually 49 Catherine Street, which is a non-existing street, but essentially is a part of the 59 Florence parcel, which he resides at.
So, to the, Ms. Torrey, wouldn't it be to make the lot more palatable and reasonable in size? Can they split some of the land from Florence to that lot, and then you will get a more conforming lot? Because this would be totally non-conforming. At least you can make it more conforming if they control some of, because the same owner controls both lots.
The lot at Florence or Catherine or what have you would be left non-conforming, so that, number one, it can't lose any area of its own. This is a lot of record predating and existing before zoning. So it is allowed to be a lot of record whether or not it conforms to lot area for today, which is why the applicants are here. Some form of variance, it's only 50 feet wide, so 20 feet wide on either side leaves a 10-foot wide house. So the applicant has proposed a single variance in order, according to the plans submitted, to be able to erect on it. But to change the lot configuration from the abutting lot with the current property owner would just, in fact, leave what is existing on the opposite lot more non-conforming as well.
But is it conforming now, the lot on Catherine?
I would have to look into that, quite honestly. The whole area, quite frankly, predates zoning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
so,
over there.
so I would have to look into it, and this has had a lot of interest, this particular lot, because it's been around forever and never developed.
And that would be because it didn't comply to zoning now.
What one could do to it exactly, which is, and part of the hardship of allowing a variance is reasonable use of the property. It is a lot of record in a single-family zone, so one should be entitled to that. And again, at its minimum, I'd like to see, as the office, minimal variances requested.
And that's why I would think that at least you could, how big is the lot?
7,500 square feet, I believe?
No, not that lot. 59 Florence.
Oh, I quite frankly, I don't have the information. I don't believe. Is it on the map?
Yeah.
Pardon me. Let me look.
It's a decent-sized lot. It's bigger than 1,800 square feet.
But it's more than the lot size. It's also the street frontage and where the buildings are located on it that makes it perhaps non-conforming. So if you take a chunk away,
Yes.
the lot area may remain
Take it this way.
compliant, but other factors
agree.
may not.
Yeah, so, all right, I just felt that you would want to keep, I know there's zoning laws, and I understand this would be a planning and zoning issue, that they could make this conforming if they change their rules, but based on ZBA rules, this doesn't comply. Plus, he has the ability to make the lot more, at least more conforming, the owner does, by taking some of the land, not all the way to the road on the other side, but to keep some frontage on it.
With due respect to the board, that is not necessarily the case. And should the Florence Avenue be proposing an application, more would be taken into consideration. This is not them, number one. And number two, any revisions, perhaps, without looking further, I can't comment particularly, could leave the Florence Avenue one more non-conforming, in which case,
The one
changing a lot line would not be permissible.
The one that's not been built on because it's landlocked, though.
No, it's not that it's landlocked. The abutting property is non-conforming, perhaps with building location on the property, street frontage, and/or area. Some of it may be conforming, but if you take some of that away to give to 53 Harrison Avenue, you're leaving the remaining property more non-conforming. It's not just lot area.
But there's nothing on that lot.
There's nothing on 53 Harrison. It is a lot of record.
Right.
Which means it is in an R18 district, it just exists at a smaller size and smaller street frontage than would be permitted today. But it's grandfathered in, if you will, as a lot of record prior to 1958 when zoning came along.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Oh, thanks,
Any
Mike.
other questions?
Yeah,
John?
I do.
Okay.
So while I understand that it's a lot of record, you won't even have a house that looks the same as the rest of the neighborhood, right? And, in all honesty, in my opinion, it's a planning and zoning map. The zoning needs to change. In many areas throughout this town, the zoning needs to be modified because of just this situation. So I don't think there's a hardship. I mean, if there's nothing there, there's nothing there now. So I don't see that we should grant a variance for something when there's nothing there now. And as for good use of the property, planning and zoning, we've been down this road with other properties. Planning and zoning should change the rules and make it so these small lots that are hard to build on, that have nothing in them, can be built on.
The zone in its entirety is an option to be changed. Whether that's feasible or whatnot, that would happen through planning and zoning. However, it is a legal description of a hardship if you do not have reasonable use of your property. That is a lot of record. They're entitled to a single-family home on that property. So yes, you are absolutely correct. That could be an avenue, but it's the same at many, many, many neighborhoods in town that predated zoning. And the zone was not changed and variances were granted when there was already a house existing. This has
When there was already a
nothing.
house existing, yes.
Yes, and this has nothing. So they reasonably use a lot of record that is entitled to a single-family house, maybe not with 50 additions or garages or what have you, but they're entitled to reasonable use of the property, and the primary use in that zone is a single-family dwelling.
Can they put a single-family dwelling on that lot? What size?
It would have to be 10 feet wide to comply.
So it would be a tiny house, right? We've seen them elsewhere. Then they would be conforming.
It's the board's decision. However, like I said, this is a
It's just my
minimal.
opinion.
This is a minimal request with one variance for both sides. It is your determination whether or not there is a hardship involved. At the same time, the neighborhood houses do not comply on their side setbacks either. They're 20 feet.
I can't change those.
Are there any other commissioners?
Just for the story again, so if the owner of record who actually owns the property now wanted to come and build a house on 59 Florence, one behind it, and use this as some of the land, it would be less non-conforming. He could bunch these two together to get it.
No, we could not, because
Because?
that would be two lots together, which would be a single lot, and you cannot have two dwellings on one lot.
No, one dwelling I'm talking about.
If
See?
the existing dwelling were to absorb this, but again, this is not the Florence Avenue house seeking, and that's only from a zoning
But it's-
perspective,
but it's-
the application.
But
Again,
But he's the one who owns the land.
it doesn't matter who
Okay.
owns it. The key is
Right.
that it's a lot of record predating zoning. We don't call them building lots. because that's a misnomer in terms of being compliant. It is a lot of record that has been there, before zoning came along. So it may or may not conform, it just was never developed.
So you know when this lot was split then?
It wasn't split.
It was
This
always
was a
been there.
lot of record
Always been
predating
there.
zoning, so,
Always been there.
period.
It's always
There was
been
no
there.
splits, there was no,
It's always been there, okay.
always been there, it just was never, and the house was never created on it, a dwelling. And then the applicant proposes to do so.
Any other questions? Not? Go to the public. Anybody in the public want to speak for this application? Anybody want to speak against this application? We'll bring it back up here for action. We have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve 24-00953 Harrison LLC, 53 Harrison Avenue. A variance request for side yards of 12 feet. 20 feet is required to construct a new 1,700 square foot single-family home on a vacant lot at 53 Harrison Avenue, as shown on 53 Harrison Avenue, 150/202 Wallingford, Connecticut, site plan prepared for John Sullivan, dated March 14th, 2024, and submitted plans received 3/15/24, subject to. So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Motion to approve, Mr. Conroy.
No to approve.
Mr. Wolfer.
Yes to approve.
Mr. Prentice. Ms. Harris.
Yes to approve.
And Chairman Rice.
Yes to approve. You're all set.
Thank you, counsel.
Do we have a motion here to accept the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting minutes of March 18th, 2024?
I can do that, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Well, he's got to make the
I'm going to
motion.
make the motion first.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve minutes of the March 18th, 2024 meeting as submitted.
Second.
Motion, all in favor?
Aye.
If there's no other business, a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that's it for tonight.
That's all she wrote.